West Ham United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. I'll try and keep it to the game as much as I can, but I found the whole thing, quite symbolic, and I couldn't help but watch the game and retain some concern for next season, that's for sure. It was symbolic in a number of ways, really, because I felt that game probably symbolised a lot of what is wrong with West Ham, which is why it's difficult to then go on and not talk about the bigger picture. But I'll try and keep it as confined to this game as I possibly can. And look, we've got a lot of time to discuss all the other stuff, let's be fair. It's weird because actually for the first time, probably this season, was the first time afterwards, I thought, you know what, that's a tough game to speak about. That's going to be a tough video to do. Normally I'm not stuck for words, really. And I think a lot of it was possibly, just a bit of motivation to come down here and even jump on and do a video. And I thought that was probably mirrored in a lot of the players themselves, apart from at the end where it, like a mini scrap, if you want, a big argument. It was clearly the frustration of what's been a very, very poor season came out in the players, and that's why it was 11 minutes extra time anyway, injury time, but then there was a load more put on, obviously, because of the kerfuffle at the end. I think very underwhelming, not just in terms of the game, but I think in terms of a send-off for Aaron Cresswell, in particular Cresswell, because he got subbed off. It's a real shame we didn't have more control of that game. And I did think it was there for the taking. I didn't think Nottingham Forest were brilliant, actually. I just thought West Ham were pretty poor. And the whole game, for large portions of it, were played at a snail's pace. And the fact that quite possibly West Ham's best player today might have been Vladimír Coufal is going to prompt more questions than anything else. He was unlucky not to score, actually. I thought he was going to score, and that would have been absolutely brilliant. But we didn't create enough in the game and didn't have enough control of the football match to really allow us to have a sort of carnival atmosphere there. Now, I'm here recording this video now rather than in watching the players doing laps around the pitch. I wouldn't be able to see it anyway, to be fair, because the game went on for so long. They were straight into the Newcastle-Arsenal game. But I just think it's probably going to be a little bit downbeat, any sort of farewells, any sort of celebration. And I think that is a shame. It's a shame for Cresswell. Cresswell played well as well in this game, by the way. He did play well. And this is what I mean. It's hard not to talk about the other stuff going on at West Ham and just confine it to the game. I didn't think, as I say, they were brilliant. I thought the opening of the game was, well, it was like, you have an attack, I have an attack, you have an attack, I'll have an attack. It was a little bit basketball. Possibly should have scored. Really good cross from Coufal, funnily enough. Header from Souček was a really good save from Sells. Had a good shot from Coufal, left-footed shot, actually, forced a corner. We did all right for a corner, actually, that subsequent corner. From James Ward-Prowse. I don't know what Tadibo was doing. Maybe he was trying to flick it on or something. He should have scored, should have done. Their opening goal was avoidable. Totally and utterly avoidable, of course. And it's hard to have too many complaints. We are openly encouraging Alphonse Areola to play out from the back, to play with the ball at his feet, to almost be a sweeper keeper. And sometimes he's going to do all right at it, like he did at Manchester United. And then because he's not that player, because we're basically trying to find somebody in their late 30s, as I said, funny, ironically enough, in the build-up show, it's going to be difficult because somebody asked about signing Aaron Ramsdale. I said it's always going to be difficult when you find a player in their 30s to then ask them to learn something new. I think that's going to be difficult. And that's really what we're asking Areola to do. He made mistakes. Kilman passed him the ball back, but he had plenty of time. If he'd have wanted to clear it, he could have done. I mean, he had 3 or 4 seconds. He had enough time. I think he tried to pass it to Rodriguez. It was an inaccurate pass. Morgan Gibbs-White read it, and basically he passed the ball in. Well, I still had to score, but there was no goalkeeper there because Areola just passed the ball. So we were 1-0 down, and I think that really killed it by and large, because West Ham weren't it was, as I say, it was nip and tuck until then. We were having an attack, they were having an attack. We'd had some corners, they had some corners. At that point, that was it really. They then slowed the game right down, and we just didn't have enough to break them down. The truth of the matter is we didn't know how to break them down. And this is one of the things that is going to be my concern, certainly for next season. But again, a conversation for another day, maybe. All throughout, Vladimír Coufal kept on trying. There was a worry that actually Coufal was really good. Cresswell was pretty damn good. And actually even Guido Rodriguez was all right. So you're looking at it thinking, hold on a second, these are people that are not even going to be here next season. And I mentioned it when we did our breakfast show this morning. I'm struggling to look at the team and find anything to overly be excited about. It's not like I'm going to look at it and I'm going to learn anything ahead of next season. You can't. It's tough. It's really, really tough, actually. But I didn't feel a lot of urgency from us. I didn't feel that we really wanted to make an occasion of it. I didn't feel that West Ham wanted to try and win the game at all, which is gutting, really. But it wasn't just West Ham that played their part in it being, in the game petering out and the atmosphere petering out and it being quite a dull, damp affair up until the point where everybody started scrapping, basically. But before that happened, there was another point in the game. The substitutions were really interesting as well, because I felt they gave a little insight into things that West Ham, again, coulda, shoulda done better. Before we get to that, can I please point in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Surfshark. Surfshark are a VPN. If you've not got a VPN, well, why not? You should have one, that's for sure. A VPN is a way that you can basically encrypt all of your devices, be it the phone, the laptop, whatever you're watching this on. And we've got a really, really good deal for you at Hammers Chat at the moment. We basically get 4 months free. 4 months free on Surfshark and a 30-day money-back guarantee. I've been using it for 3 years before they even started to sponsor us. It's got a lot of deal. Like, not only do you cover yourself in terms of things like internet banking and stuff like that, but you can also change your geolocation, which allows you to access content that maybe you can't access in the UK. Change your geolocation to Spain, you can access Spanish content, that sort of thing. Really, really good. Very easy as well, be it whether it's on your phone or whether it is on your laptop. Once it's installed, as soon as you fire it up, you can just change it. Honestly, a click of, 2 buttons, basically. Just change your location, click which region, and it is done. Links in the description below. Make sure you use the link in the description below so as you get the discount, or if not, if you just go onto Surfshark, it'll ask you if you've got a discount code. You do. It's Hammers Chat, and it's all one word. We made 4 substitutions. We made 4 substitutions on, I've got it written down here, it's 58th minute, right? Paqueta for Rodriguez, Soler for James Ward-Prowse, Fulkrug for Souček, and Alvarez for Cresswell. It was... I understood what Potter was doing. He's just trying to win the game. We were 1-0 down, not for long, by the way, because as soon as these substitutions were done, we conceded straight away afterwards. I'm not complaining about that bit. I'm not. I think his substitutions are too defensive, so it would be wrong of me to criticise him when he made attacking substitutions. I'm just saying that really was the timing of it. It's just because Cresswell's substitution was in amongst a bunch of them. It just didn't. The full focus of the stadium wasn't on him, which might have been nice. It might have been nice. That's all I'm saying on that one. But I don't want to. There's a lot of time to talk about this other stuff. I'm not talking about Cresswell. I'm talking about things with the team and things maybe with Potter. There's other time to discuss that. We conceded pretty quickly afterwards. And this is what I'm talking about, killing the momentum of the game and killing the momentum of the occasion, actually. So things like that didn't help. So Milenkovic scored off of his back. It was basically, they had a free kick, a wide free kick. It came over. Could West Ham defend it a little bit better? Yes, I guess we could have done. But it still was quite lucky. It flicked off Milenkovic's back and then went into the goal. Took VAR 6 minutes. And it was really as offside decision. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I think, wow, this just kills it. It really does. It is really bad. Really, really bad. Would have been bad in the stadium. It was bad viewing it on TV. Pretty poor, really. Anyway, we did score, but we scored, really, really late. It was, whenever it was, right at the end, 89th, 80th. In all honesty, I can't remember. It was right at the end of the game, just before it went into injury time, or just after. But before that, Guilherme had come on from Kudus, instantly improved us. He had some direct running, really nice little give and go with Carlos Soler, and could maybe might have scored on a different day. But there wasn't too much that worked. Actually, I thought Soler was okay. I thought Paqueta was decent enough. Actually, he played a role in the goal. We had some forward-facing players, and I mean that. I don't mean forward-thinking. They were. But we had some forward-facing players. That helped. And if we're going to really start to unpick what it is Potter is possibly going to try and do next season, then he's going to need more players. He's going to need attacking players and players that are comfortable on the ball. But not just ones that can pass it left to right and do the ABC stuff, the paint-by-number stuff. He's going to need a bit of fantasy in there. He's going to need somebody who's got a bit of genius, because we were sadly lacking it. Because for too long, up until Bowen scored a wonder goal, and it was a wonder goal, we didn't look like we know how to score. It was boring. We are boring. We are a pretty boring team. And quite where the club are going to go with this stuff in terms of season tickets and all that sort of stuff is anyone's guess. It is not good. We're not a good watch. We're really not. There's a number of reasons I've already touched on why it was hard to really inject any excitement in the occasion. We don't really play with any intensity. I didn't think Forest played with much intensity. Enough. They did what they had to do to get the job done. But right, that Forest do a bit of that, don't they? That's their season, right? A lot of it's been like that. By the way, Bowen's goal. Sorry, I'm probably brushing over it. It's just, as I just feel I've had enough. I've had enough for this season. That's the truth of the matter. It's hard. They don't give you much to get behind West Ham at the moment. This West Ham team don't give you an awful lot to get excited about. This goal would have been one of those things, but I think that the trouble is goals are nice when you think you can have a chance of winning the game or something like that. This wasn't one of those occasions. It was just a nice highlight in a game that West Ham, apart from the first 10 minutes and maybe when we were trying to have a bit of fisticuffs, we didn't really contest it. Lucas Paqueta sort of chipped the ball up to Bowen. It got a little bit of a deflection. Bowen cushioned it with the outside of his foot, brought it down. It was a beautiful piece of skill, by the way. His first touch was sublime. Volleyed it in the back of the net. It was really, really, really good. It was the kind of skill that would grace any football match. Any football match. I saw someone say, if Lionel Messi had scored that, they'd be raving about it. It will get its fair share of attention because it was a brilliant goal, an absolutely brilliant goal. Bowen hadn't been involved in the match much at all up to that point, and there's a lot of players that hadn't. And I was thinking at this time, I'm not sure how long he's going to want to play in this. We did bring Fulkrug on. Fulkrug did have a really good header at the end. You've seen him do a big, powerful header from quite far out. Mostly Milenkovic wasn't asked by him, to be fair. Didn't really. Big old lump Milenkovic. And I just didn't think we inflicted too much upon them. Had we scored earlier on, had Souček scored early on, then fine. But, it was a good save from the goalkeeper, and Premier League teams have good goalkeepers, right? Well, hey, some do. No, that's unfair. Areola is a good goalkeeper. We just ask him to do something that's foreign to him. Maybe if Todibo had scored early on, maybe nerves come into it, but we gifted them an early goal and it allowed them to settle. And let's be fair, it's not the first time, even very recently, that we have gifted a team a goal. And you just can't keep doing this stuff. I don't know if it's concentration, I don't know what I think with Kilman, I think Kilman's might be concentration, possibly not, but Kilman against Tottenham had 2 bites of the cherry, didn't he? So actually, he had 2 occasions where he probably should have cleared it and he didn't, which means he's under instruction. Played a ball on the deck, played a short pass. I do believe that's what happened with Areola here. If he wants to play this way, he's going to have to get players in to do so. Anyway, I don't want to go too mad on Potter here. a couple of weeks ago, I sort of resigned myself to my fate as far as that is concerned. So yeah, I'm still just sort of hope for the best next season. But it would have been nice to see a little something, even if it had just been a bolt-on, like an add-on from last week. And I've said it many times on this channel, my favourite football we sort of played was under Pardew. We were sort of attacking about 5 or 6 passes. It's not just hoof it straight up long to the top guy. Crisp forward passes, get it quick, get it into the box. I'd sort of liked the way Pardew played. I quite like that style of football. So, look, 30 passes is not my point. Is 30 passes not my style of football? But I really appreciated that goal last week. And if that's the way the manager wants to do it, that's fine. I'll be right behind it. That's for sure. But so I wanted, even if we'd seen a little bit more of that, maybe. I didn't feel that we did really. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Sorry, a bit of a lackluster video here, maybe, but I thought it was a bit of a lackluster game, really. So I'm probably just mirroring what I have seen. Anyway, enjoy what's left of your Sunday. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.